Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Marvel Legends Infinite Series action figure of Drax the Destroyer. Now, one of the things I like about this series is that the side of the packaging includes individual character art for each figure, as opposed to, say, the Captain America the Winter Soldier series, which included just a picture of Cap on the side. Here's a close-up look at the lower torso of the Groot figure. He also comes with two knives. This one, when it came out of the package, is relatively straight. There's a little bit of a curve to it, but this one was really bent in the packaging, so that's kind of a bummer. But let's take a closer look at it. You can see it's got some pretty good little engraving on the blade, and the handle's really well sculpted too. For such a little piece, I really do dig it. Cool thing about this blade is that it fits really nicely into his boot. So we'll just go ahead and do that now. Now here's a look at his back and all the great sculpting that Hasbro did, which I'm really impressed by. I was not expecting this level of sculpting to be done by Hasbro. I really dig what they're doing on his arms. And not only just the artwork on his chest, but the fact that they sculpted like the muscles too. This is some pretty good sculpting. Even just little elements of his pants are really, really well done. One of the things I really dig about this is the boots. I think these boots look really, really good. I think they did a great job sculpting all these little buckles and using more than one kind of black. There's like a shinier black and then a kind of like a duller black on the sides here. I think these boots look great. I won't bore you by moving every single articulation point, but I will tell you he's got the hinged shoulder, the bicep cut, double elbow joint, the swivel and bending of the wrist. He does have the mid-torso cut that does have a little ratchety sound right there, and the swiveling at the waist. Legs swing in and out with the mid-thigh cut, double knee joint, and the hinged swivel of the ankle. One thing I will point out though is my double knee joint. Left knee, great. Right knee, that does not move at all. I don't know if glue fell in there, if there's some dried paint or what, but I can't get that bottom one to move. One thing I do want to point out is that the paint on these is just out of sight. Look at the paintwork that's being done on his face here. It's really, really well detailed. I gotta admit, I thought there'd be some sloppy paint. I looked at a bunch of these, and for the most part, they all looked pretty good. Things to be on the lookout for. I saw some smeared shoulder areas. I did see a few that had a smeared chest area, and be on the lookout for a smeared stomach area. But just look at the red tattoo area, which is more orangey, and just keep your eyes peeled. But as far as the placement of the paint on the sculpt goes, these are mostly really, really good, and I really gotta commend Hasbro for nailing the paint application onto this somewhat complex sculpt, considering, you know, this is a 6-inch figure. This is this is relatively smear-free. I don't really have any problems with this figure. The only thing worth noting is be on the lookout for eyeballs. He's got a smooth face, and even though he's an aggressive character, in such a small scale, he can look kind of childlike if his eyeballs aren't painted well. I saw some where the white was painted too big, gave him kind of a Shrek look, or that little black line that goes above the eyeball went on too much and looked like, you know, guy liner. Some of the eyeballs are painted too wide, which gives him like a wild, kind of childlike look. It's kind of weird. So if you care about how he looks, be sure to check out the eyeballs. But if you tilt his head down a little bit, you do get kind of an intimidating, you know, fierce brow stare, and I think that's pretty cool. Aside from that stiff right knee joint, the articulation on this figure is really solid. The joints aren't too loose and they aren't too stiff. They're the perfect amount of mobility, which allowed me to get him into some really cool poses. And overall, I dig this figure a lot. I think the sculpt is awesome and the paint is even more awesome. I think if you're a fan of Drax the Destroyer, you're going to love this figure because I think it turned out great. And even fans of Dave Bautista, I think the likeness is pretty good. And overall, love it. Love this figure. Thanks for watching.